जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय 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 जय राम. मालूम है? हाँ? श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम 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 जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम
Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om 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 Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om 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 Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai 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 Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram Jai Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Jai Shri Jai Ram. Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai. Shri Ram Jai. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. घुबड़े खा कर ला राम जय जय राम. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om 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 Shri Ram Jai
श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम
श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम जय
राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम।
ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। जय राम। ओम श्री राम जय राम। जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम 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 जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम हरि ओम टू एवरीबॉडी प्रणाम 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 प्रणाम
2-3 emails. One of the devotees, they wrote to Papa, no? Ram. Last night you whispered in my ear that you do not exist. My body felt filled with you and only you. There was no longer me, only you. This morning the body is like a puppet in your hands, making it take a shower, dance, sing, wash the dishes, sweep the floor. Laughter floats in the air as I feel in the depth of my being that there is only you. The heaviness of me is gone. What is left is a lightness and joy indescribable. It is like the weight of the world has been lifted, and what is left is just laughter, space, peace. To taste the spontaneous joy, the lightness, I feel like a child again, carefree, like an instrument in your hands. My prayer is that this state lasts forever, that I remain this high, never revert to the other me again. In love with you always, your child. The message Papa gives us through this letter is that he is blessing us with his intimate relationship. Though the intimate relationship is with us, all of us have got. But he chooses to reveal that not in all, but only for one who he pines for it, whose intensity is so strong that the God cannot but make us aware of his presence within us. Kindly think about it. He is there in all of us very much. All these are applicable to every one of us. But the only thing is, we are not aware. So the prayer should be to become, not to gain anything new, but to make me aware of thy presence. Last night you whispered in my ear that you do not exist. You as an individual do not exist. This is a beautiful word. My body felt filled with you and only you. There is no longer me, only you. The sense of individuality immediately says that. This morning the body is like a puppet in your hands, making it take a shower, dance, sing, wash the dishes, sweep the floor. Laughter floats in the air as I feel in the depth of my being that there is only you. The heaviness of me is gone. What is left is a lightness and joy indescribable. It is like the weight of the world has been lifted, and what is left is just laughter, space, peace. To taste this spontaneous joy, this lightness, I feel like a child again, carefree, like an instrument in your hands. My prayer is that this state lasts forever, that I remains and never reverts to me again. In love with you always, your child. Previously, another devotee writes, previously our satsang were like you were sitting on the stage and we were like school children, sitting on the bench attending the lectures. Nowadays we feel that we are walking with Papa. We feel that the gap is gone now. By the grace of Him, we feel that the connection has been established. We feel that the churning is going on. We pray for His grace to intensify the churning process moment by moment with love. Intimate relationship. Nowadays we are walking with Papa. That means His closeness is felt. When Papa was telling us in the outpourings, let him eat, drink, sleep, move, sit, stand, talk, think, look, hear, smell, touch, do everything in thy name for thy sake only. O Ram, O Divine Mother, Ramdas is thine totally, completely, heart, soul, body, mind, everything, everything. So sharing the experience of a devotee immediately makes us aware to become more intense in our sadhana. These are the thoughts shared by our co-devotees, co-sadakas. So that means the whole process is entering into us, and the process is making us aware of His closeness, His living presence. That is why it has been reflected in these words. Previously, our satsang were like you were sitting on the stage and we were like school children sitting on the bench attending the lectures. Nowadays we feel that we are walking with Papa. We feel that the gap is gone now. By the grace of Him, we feel that the connection has been established. We feel that the churning is going on. We pray for His grace to intensify the churning process moment by moment. So the outcome of the churning is the awareness of His presence. Kindly note this. It should zero to that. I am chanting, I am doing bhajan, I am doing swadhyay, I am doing this, I am doing that. But the net result is whether I feel His presence inside, So through this devotee, Papa is telling us, always have this before you, this ideal. This thrilling experience, Not only His closeness, He says, I am walking with you, He is whispering into our ears, I am there with you always, but you are not looking at me. Probably even at the time of chanting, we are not looking at Him. Even at the time of enjoying the bhajan or taking part in the bhajan, we are not looking at Him. Because He has been with us. He has never been away from us. So these two letters, it's very, 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 very thought-provoking, enthusing, assuring, Another letter. With the in-depth study of IQG, which started last December, you said, if I remember right, that Papa would be very happy if we took it up seriously. It's a mysterious statement. It says Papa is there, alive among us. The year is almost over. We look at the changes in our lives. A wave of gratitude flows from the bottom of our heart, thanking you, Him, God, for the tireless, unflagging explications, clarifications, forcing us to go within again and again, requesting our participation by asking questions and all out of your love only. The best way to thank you is to come closer and closer to you, who you are. You said it is our own self. Today you made us meditate on the meaning of the equipoise. After reading 23 silence, from Beloved Papa and Swami Shivananji, I wonder if there is a border between equipoise and silence. Or is it that equipoise be the last step before, or if not, a border is there in relation between the two L's. Your child forever at your holy feet. Even when he forgets, he knows it is still you, him, and he. They have been, that means, the Papa has been lifting them from their level and then making them aware. How it is delivered through anybody, delivered by him, that is not matter. They are in a position to feel the intimate relationship of the indwelling reality. And this devotee makes a mention about the silence, PPT, Papa says, bhajan must lead you into silence. Silence not merely orally but mentally. That stage of silence you must reach soon, without going on making noises all the life. Utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. In the stillness it is that you know and realize God. We are all chanting, Utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. In the stillness it is that you know and realize God. Out of silence, tremendous forces are released. Wonders are worked. Learn to be silent. It is not merely outer silence, but inner silence, silence of the mind. When we recede into the depth of silence within us, we arrive at the true basis of our life. We discover that from this source, all life and manifestation have come forth in their amazing variety and multiplicity. It is at this source that we discover the eternal fountain of peace and joy. Until an individual gets the vision of this fundamental existence, he will be simply groping on the surface and therefore in the dark, in pursuit of vain and evanescent things, believing that these can yield him the true peace and happiness which his soul hungers for. So previously he said, it is at this source, that means I chant, the chanting arrests all dissimilar thoughts, chanting also stops. And the fountain of peace and joy will be immediately felt. If this is forgotten, no? Until an individual gets the vision of this fundamental existence, that means peace and joy is within me, and I can know it only by arresting all thoughts. Initially, with the help of Nama, I drive away all other thoughts, and finally the Nama also stops. Until an individual gets the vision of this fundamental existence, he will be simply groping on the surface. Therefore, in the dark, in pursuit of vain and evanescent things, believing that these can yield him the true peace and happiness which his soul hungers for. We are in that stage, That is why Papa is bringing out our own original picture. We are satisfied by the superficial activities, Nothing deep. He is beyond our comprehension. Therefore, silence is He. Silence is Brahman. The self does not require silence. It is always silent. Swami Shivanji Maharaj says, purify the mind and meditate. Be still and know that you are God. Calm the mind. Silence the bubbling thoughts and surging emotions. Plunge deep into the innermost recess of your heart. God or Brahman is supreme silence. Soul is silence. Peace is silence. Atman is silence. Silence is the language of Brahman. Silence is the language of the heart. Silence is the language of the sage. Silence is immense strength. Silence is great eloquence. Silence is God. Silence is the substratum for this body, mind, prana, senses. Silence is the background for the sense universe. Silence is power. Silence is a living force. Silence is the only reality. The peace that passeth all understanding is silence. The goal of your life is silence. The aim of your life is silence. The purpose of your existence is silence. Behind all noises and sound is silence, thy innermost soul. Silence is thy real name. Silence is intuitive experience. Silence helps the intuitional self to express itself. Mysterious is the silence. To go into silence is to become God. Enter into silence. Know the silence. Enjoy the magnanimous silence. Become silence itself. Realize God now and here. This PPT has got 23 slides. Words of Papa and words of Swami Shivanji Maharaj combined. Though we have been using it many a times in our satsang, because here, with no ambiguity, with no complicated words, with absolutely no confusion, with no big words, the truth is brought and placed before us in a simple, understandable language. This is very important. When other devotees wrote about the intimacy, Though he is there, he should make me aware of his presence always. So this is one method, Papa and Maharaj, Shivananji Maharaj suggests one method through which with the help of the sound we go to the soundlessness. With the help of the name we go to the nameless. Today we are deeply grateful to him for making us to go through these precious words of wisdom. All of us can try. He is within us. He says, Papa says, the fountain of peace and joy. Of course, when bodily ailments come, when bodily ailments dominate us, it is difficult for us to plumb deep. But still, hearing this will definitely help us. And praying to him, you are there in our heart in the form of this silence. My thoughts prohibit me from realizing you. My thoughts are blocking the awareness. Please help me. Unless you come and remove these thoughts, I will not be able to. So this can also help us. Our preoccupations and our bodily ailments prevent us to keep on this, but somewhere in the bottom of my heart, I have this. You have given me this. So kindly facilitate me with whatever is required to become aware of your presence. Though there are 23 slides, it is the same language, same thing is repeated. 23 strokes, One or two or three or four we might forget. We feel, with a hammer, 23 strokes, so that it will have some dent in our mind. Simple words, no tall talk, all easily understandable. But we cannot again read it and go. It should enter into us. As a part of our sadhana, we will repeat it again. Papa's words, bhajan must lead you into silence. Silence not merely orally, but mentally. That stage of silence you must reach soon, without going on making noises all the life. When these words were being typed out called out from Papas, it struck to us, how can we implement bhajan hall? Bhajan is going on. At that time, how can we express? Will the participants be able to go along with it? Ramnam is going on. When you say utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, how can we practice it when it is going on? Then it becomes very clear that during individual sadhana, if we don't practice, we will not be able to make a trial in the congregational. We must be able to realize the presence of the silence between the two words, the two Ramnams. Even in the Ramnam, we must be able to feel the interval between Om and Shri, Ram, Ram, Jai, Jai, Ram, Jai, Jai, Ram. There are intervals, pause moments. So when the Nama is going on, simultaneously we must become aware of the silence between them. Bhajan must lead you into silence not merely orally, but mentally. That stage of silence you must reach soon, without going on making noises all the life. Utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. In the stillness it is that you know and realize God. Papa is very clear about this, In the stillness it is that you know and realize God. Out of silence, tremendous forces are released. Wonders are worked. Learn to be silent. It is not merely outer silence, but inner silence, silence of the mind. When we recede into the depth of silence within us, we arrive at the true basis of our life. When we have constructed the house, we hardly think about the site, It is on the site we built the house. Basis. Similarly, if our life is whole, it is existing because of this, but we are unaware of it. When we recede into the depths of silence within us, we arrive at the true basis of our life. We discover that from this source, all life and manifestation have come forth in their amazing variety and multiplicity. It is at this source that we discover the eternal fountain of peace and joy. Until an individual gets the vision of this fundamental existence, this basis, the sight, he will be simply groping on the surface, and therefore in the dark, in pursuit of vain and evanescent things, transitory things, fleeting, believing that these can yield him true peace and happiness. So until an individual gets the vision of this fundamental existence, my base, I will be simply groping on the surface and therefore in the dark, in pursuit of vain and evanescent things. Believing that these can yield him true peace and joy, peace and happiness, which his soul hungers for. He is beyond our comprehension. At the thought level, we cannot bring him. Therefore, silence is he. Silence is Brahman. The self, Atman, does not require silence. It is always silent. Shivanji Maharaj. Purify the mind and meditate. Be still and know that you are God. Calm the mind. Silence the bubbling thoughts and surging emotions. Plunge deep into the innermost recesses of your heart. God or Brahman is supreme silence. Soul is silence. Peace is silence. Atman is silence. Silence is the language of the Brahman. Silence is the language of the heart. Silence is the language of the sage. Silence is immense strength. Silence is great eloquence. Silence is God. Silence is the substratum for this body, mind, prana, senses. Substratum, base. Silence is the background for the sense universe. Silence is power. Silence is a living force. Silence is the only reality. The peace that passeth all understanding is silence. The goal of your life is silence. The aim of your life is silence. He is reminding us. The purpose of your existence is silence. Behind all noises and sounds is silence, the innermost soul. Silence is thy real name. Silence is intuitive experience. Silence helps the intuitional self to express itself. Mysterious is the silence. To go into silence is to become God. Enter into silence. Know the silence. Enjoy the magnanimous silence. Become silence itself. Realize God now and here. The in-depth study of IQG now makes us clear to us, with today's revelation, that every now and then he was resorting to solitude and silence to enjoy this magnanimous silence.
Silence is our real home, Swamiji said.
Yeah. When we keep on hearing this, 23 strokes, let us remember this. With hammer, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, no, the stone will not break. So 23 strokes, 23 slides. Mahatmas are reminding us this is your original nature. So let us all now previously we would have heard this, but probably it would not have become that clear. When he makes our mind more and more receptive, we enjoy, we understand the real significance of the word. It has to be coupled with the deep, reflective, meditative journey. That is why Papa often keeps on telling us that we should become reflective and meditative and contemplative. Not on the surface level. So this path takes us to that stage, and then we come to realize that the same power is in all. Up to this, it is nirguna. Then it becomes nirguna and saguna. It is just like learning our cycle balance, Then the balance is always with us. Then we become aware the silence is always, he is there in the form of the silence within us. Even while these words are being uttered, it comes from that soundless base. So the connection is kept alive. And today's that email also lays a lot of importance for this connection. How to connect myself. Not that I have to bring anything from outside. So when we, now let us make an honest effort, when we hear bhajan, when we do Ram Nam, let us try our best that the Nama comes from that Nama-less, or what do you call it, soundless base. Initially the mind may resist because it is busy because of habituation. Papa's words should we will be simply groping on the surface and therefore in the dark. We are satisfied with this. No, it will not help us much. The fountain, everlasting joy and peace, that we have to touch that fountain. And you see now how through a devotee, the indwelling reality is touching and kindling in us. These are all simple facts. Not that it has to be discovered, it has to be invented or innovated, no? Just to discover, that's all. Discover, no? Remove the cover. Remove the cover, veil of ignorance. So let us all, some words from this, 23 strokes we may not remember, but something we will definitely remember. Silence is the language of this Brahman. Silence is the language of the heart. Silence is language of the sage. Mysterious is the silence. Know the silence. Enter into the silence. Become silence itself. Realize God now and here, no? If this much we remember, that will help us a lot. And suddenly we will realize He has been with us. Every thought can come only from the base. Every sound can come only from the soundless base. So let us all pray to Him to bless us with this unique experience, He is providing to us. Anybody would like to share any thoughts?
The questioner is silent.
Yes.
The questioner is silent.
Question is silent.
Questioner.
The questioner is silent.
Simple thing is there can't be any discussion on silence. It is purely an experience to make us know that Papa made us to go through all this. ये चर्चा का विषय नहीं. It is purely अनुभव का विषय. Good. Anything else?
Can we communicate in silence?
Can we communicate in silence?
Try that.
Silence is communication.
When we reach the silence, what happens, Let us experience. Then we can see whether it can be communicated. Is there anybody to communicate there?
He said that Dakshinamurti communicates in silence.
Means what? Touches and kindles, Vinobaji used to say, he used to explain about action and activity. There is a big crowd. The stage manager comes and on the top of his voice, he roars, silence please. That is activity. One person who is, yesterday we discussed about equanimity, who is calm, serene, peaceful, who always identifies with the calmness inside, serenity inside. He comes to the stage, everybody stops talking. His very presence, makes them to stop talking. There is no activity, but action is there. And what is the action? Communication. I should not make noise. That has been communicated to me through that silence. So when we say Dakshinamurti communicates to us through silence, means this is the one. Those of us who have had the privilege of witnessing this, a marvelous feat, need not necessarily be a person whom we name him as a sage or saint. Suddenly it stops. Anybody who has expanded himself, just to give you or share our experience, when the Indo-Pakistan war was going on in 1965, there was a big meeting in a big Maidan. We were all prompted to go and attend in Chennai. Naturally, thousands of people are there. Kalabala, kalabala, all these sounds will be there. We were all expecting Kamraj to come, a great, revered person. He is a renunciate. You might be knowing him. Accepting his 2 claws, nothing else is with him. So he was not even the chief minister then. He had resigned from that. But when people came to know that he is there, we all assembled. This kalabala, 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 it was going on. The moment Kamraj reached the stage, everybody kept quiet. Pin drop silence. He is not an orator. He will just share like anybody, colloquial language. He immediately said, "What are you looking? Come on, let somebody bring bed sheet or sari, whatever is available, some cloth." He did not know anything. Immediately the organizers went and placed it before him. Then he looked at the ladies. If you have got 2 bangles, 1 bangle. 2 chains, 1 chain. 2 rings, 1 ring. Look at us. Empty your pockets, put. You will not believe. As if like a machine, ladies will know how much they are attached to ornaments. We saw it with our own eyes. People coming forward, putting it without even asking for a receipt. When people put money, nobody questions, because who is asking, Kamaraj? When we see silence, in one of the words, silence is immense strength, silence is power. It is mysterious and it has got tremendous power. Living, it is a living force. So many we have watched, but this one particularly comes now when we share with you. Instantaneous, Immediately the moment he came to the stage, everybody kept quiet. When we used to attend Swami Chinmayanandaji's lectures also, we used to find, there won't be any Kalavala because there will be Mahamantra Japa going on. Then everybody, suppose they are coming, moving out, everybody will stop the moment Swamiji sits on the dais. Initially,
pin drop silence.
But we can say that it is because of the silence, discipline. But the moment a person who has expanded himself from me to we, plenty of instances. Any celebrate for that purpose.
Lot.
Suppose you are looking forward to a person who gives you lectures or who sings. Now MS comes to the scene. Everybody will be silent. Gandhi Mandapam in Adayar, no? Every 30th January when she comes, thousands of people will be there. The moment she arrives, it will be pin drop silence to hear her Vaishnava Janatu and Meera songs, So that means the sadhanas, when they do this, when the sense of individuality identifies with the core of the being, tremendous influence comes out. Why we remember, somebody pointed out, Dakshinamurti communicates to us through silence. So there are umpteen number of instances where the only thing is, if the me has expanded to we and him, we find the same thing. They don't have to talk to us. Ramana Bhagavan did not give, when Papa went and saw. There have been many instances where he talks very little, but he is very present, It gives us a taste of silence. Suppose you look at him as a holy person and you say he was sitting there, we were thrilled, that's all. We don't derive the benefit. But when we experience the silence, that means the core of the being. We are seeing God. We are seeing the Atman. So today these 23 slides give us more and more clarity about all those things. Kindly think about it. All our spiritual discipline should ultimately zero to this, It should yield this. Otherwise, Papa says we will be simply groping on the surface and therefore on the dark. So today he gave us another facet of the Atman, the indwelling reality. Anything else?
Swamiji, chapter 21, meditation. The Pirji and Mirzaji comes across. Brought by
Pirji,
Maharaj.
Pirji and Mirzaji.
Pirji, Mirzaji.
Meditation.
Okay.
That is an instance for meditation, for each god, especially Pirji only.
Correct. Again, our mind goes to the academics, unknowingly.
Mirzaji was just like, though he was 60 years old, he was just like a child.
Let not the mind go to the text. Forget about the text.
Not that.
Because, let us not go, because the text, again, it will bring us out of silence,
Yes, Correlated to silence through meditation.
So let us all try to dwell on that experience as much as possible, without any prop, without any support. He has been with us without any of these things, without our reading, without this, without that, without chanting. He has not put any condition, and he has been with us. Our job is to become aware of him. And today, through these 23 strokes, Papa and Gurudev Swami Shivanji Maharaj, they are turning our attention towards the most vital aspect of sadhana, the outcome of sadhana. So let us all pray to him to open up, our mind. Let it not go to anything else. Let it go again and again and again and again on this vital aspect. If we get a glimpse, then we stand to gain a lot. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram
Ram, Jai Ram.
Hari Om Hari
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Om
Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaskaram
Pranam, Swamiji.
Pranam Pranam Pranam
Hari Om, Hari Om,
Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om
Hari Om.
Hari Om
Hari Om.
Hari Om